Okay, guys, it is 10 o'clock on the nose, and I'm going to go ahead and get started this morning. I'm going to actually hit our core value first, Ernest, and then I'll introduce you if that's cool. So this morning we're going to talk about one of the core values, which is we reject the status quo and encourage innovation. We hate complacency and are always looking for ways to do what we do better. Our team members are encouraged to think outside the box and innovate. As a company, we pivot fast and often, always looking for ways to improve and find the better way. My spin on this is, the people that we bring in here to visit with us and partner with us are here to make us better. Every time that we have somebody here, whether it's a lender, an inspection company, a title company, they're here to bring us value, and we're also in return want to give them value and their time. Our vendors and partners help us get better. Coming to our weekly meetings puts you in contact with some of the top agents in our area. These agents are always innovating and pivoting, and you will learn these tricks by being around them. So that's my spin of how we try to innovate and pivot quickly and encourage innovation. This morning we have Ernest Johnson, and no, don't say it. You just go ahead and say it. And from Innovex Inspections, and I'm going to turn it over to him. I need to share his presentation, so give me a second to get that up and running. If I can find my mouse, which is the story of my life. All right, you are up and you are ready to go, sir.
All right. Let me get these out.
Hi, y'all.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Go grab some breakfast.
Where'd the couch go?
Grab some breakfast and come on in.
Yes, when you're late, you have to stand. Yeah, it's in our new real estate office.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have a new little.
I have to like cruise around in here and figure out what's going on now that we have some words.
All right, so let's give our attention to Ernest.
I'm gonna flip the slides there.
I'm gonna, you can just say flip, and I'll
Do like that?
Yep, and I'll do it.
All right. He is on cue. Oh, we got some more people coming.
Hi, right, there's more.
Hey, Rachel, come on in. There's chairs back there too.
Okay, in red.
Y'all can get those wheelers and other things back there too.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Thank you.
All right. Everybody doing okay today?
You've got a few more years. I think I'm right behind you.
All right, guys. I am Ernest, and this is Markel. We are Innovex Home Inspections. I'm not going to stand here and bore you with Inspections 101. You guys already know what we do as inspectors. But one thing is that you don't know us. So, Brian, if you'll key that to the next slide there, we will talk about a little bit about Innovex, and then we will go into some other items. Innovex has been around going on 15 years. Actually, the 31st of this month will be the 15-year milestone for us. So,
And I've known you like almost 13 of those.
yeah, you have.
There you go.
Yeah. So we've been around a while, and it kind of shows. Like, I've got the shade top of my head, so it'll get a little gray up there. But we do service the Dallas-Fort Worth and surrounding areas. We pretty much go where you go, okay, for the most part. I did have somebody ask me to go down to Killeen one time, and I was like, no, that's a little out of my area.
Come on.
So we get asked about our prices a lot, as you should, ask around, when especially for your buyers. The prices are based off square foot and features. But one thing about the way I've set the website up is that I list the prices out there for you. So if you go to my website and you look at the inspection fees, it'll have the baseline prices of the inspection. You click those boxes, it'll drop down, because of course every house is different. You may have septic, you may have sprinklers, pools and stuff. So we charge separate for those things. So, but it's all out there. Otherwise, I always ask clients or agents, please don't give a client a direct quote. You can give them a figure and then just have them call me. Just have them give me a call. Okay. Next slide. All right, so really the reason why we're here, right, has to do with trust equals opportunity. You guys don't know us, and we would like the opportunity to get to know you as well as you know us. We are very thorough in our inspections, but we are neutral in our delivery. So with that being said, in order for you to know who we are, you have to trust us, right? And that comes with the opportunity behind that. But that aside, we're going to talk about buyers. This is what I'm seeing a lot of, is that buyers, not all buyers, some buyers, they do not read the inspection reports. Okay, they just don't do it. How do I know? Is I get a lot of buyers that I call and say, "Hey, Ernest, I need an invoice for that inspection you did for me." And I'm like, "It's the last page of your inspection report, right?" So it's always at the bottom right there. That's how I know they're not reading it. But the other thing is what we're finding most of, guys, is and ladies, is on builder warranties for new construction. They're calling us back in the 11th month builder warranty, and they want us to perform the inspection again because they're seeing things. And so we go back in there and we're pretty much writing up the same stuff that we had done 11th month earlier. So I'm like, you realize that faucet was leaking 11 months ago. And they're like, "Oh, well, and I'm like, "What did you do?" They handed the report to the builder, and the builder says they're going to fix it at closing, and they didn't. So the buyers are not holding the builders accountable. Okay. So I always tell the buyers when they call us in the 11th month, hold the builders accountable. Onto the right-hand side over there is the property inspection report that we as inspectors are bound by through track. And it specifically states, I highlighted in yellow, the responsibility of the client. And of course, if the client, if we're finding things on the inspection report, it's the client's responsibility to ensure that they either have further evaluations or whatever that looks like prior to that close. Okay. So I'm going to turn this over right quick to Mr. Markell. This is his piece, and we'll go from there.
There's some of the things that Ernest is talking about, this dealing with the builder. The builders are causing themselves. For example, the top left slide, you'll see a slow to drain on a tub. Well, we've been in new builds where, the builders are dumping their chip, their paint, all their trash down those drains, and then they're encouraging the buyers not to have an independent inspection done for those very reasons, because they don't want us to come out and find things and they have to fix it, losing money that way for them. So we encourage you definitely, if we're finding things like PVC drain pipes not connected and leaking, look at that. That's on a new build. The valley of the roof not unsealed and light under the door, which we're losing energy. That's going to be costing your client more money. We definitely encourage you to get an inspection done on new builds, obviously on older homes as well. So
I've had every single one of those.
absolutely.
On the construction.
So just don't think because it's a new build and it's pretty, it looks good. There's things that we can find and save that client some grief and time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A thorough inspection creates satisfied customers. Satisfied customers generate referrals. Referrals generates the dollars, right? That's what we're looking for, please. All right, advantages of reading the inspection report. Reports may reveal potential issues such as structural defects, plumbing issues, electrical issues, etc. Right? The report can save the buyers from future problems and costly repairs. And of course, the buyers can leverage negotiations and identify the alternatives. In worst case scenario, they have to walk away, right? So not every home is meant for that buyer, guys and ladies. So I'm sorry, I use guys a lot, but I'm not going to offend anybody. So next slide, please. The disadvantages of the buyers not reading the inspection reports is existing problems may not be addressed and fixed before the closing, hence what we were talking about, right? The builder's not addressing the issues. Buyers assumes all the risk and costs associated with the problems. You own the problem now, right? This is one title or bullet point that I talk to investors a lot, because they go out and they buy a property and say that the owner had a addition put on the back side and they didn't pipe the gray line to the main sewer. And what we've been seeing a lot is they'll run it to the outside. It's like dishwashers, and they'll run that stuff outside. Now, if that is running to a waterway, not only do you own the the problem to fix it. Now you own the problem of cleanup. Okay, and I don't know if you guys, my background was environmental safety, and I'm gonna tell you now, a cleanup on a waterway is very expensive. So the report may reveal safety concerns that should have been considered, and I'm sure there's some other items as well. So right here, we're gonna stop here for a second. Mr. Markell is gonna go around. Everybody like playing games? Mr. Markell is gonna go around and he's gonna hand out these coasters. Please keep the coasters face down. Keep the coasters face down. You have to have a phone. Everybody got their phones? Everybody should have a phone these days. Brian, you got the old flip phone, don't you?
Oh, no, I don't.
He does have an Android.
I have Android.
That's it. All right, so you have to have a cell phone, and it has to have the QR scanner on it. Everybody got their QR? So let's get all that ready. Let's get the QR code ready.
Okay.
So in order to play the game, it's a giveaway, guys. So yeah, it's a giveaway. You like giveaways? So yeah, keep it down. Don't scan it until I tell you to. Okay?
Is it like first person that does it wins?
Yes, and you gotta have an updated phone.
You gotta have an updated phone.
iPhone 6. No, you gotta scan it.
All right, everybody.
I got it. I just gave up.
We're gonna- All right, bear with me. We're gonna go, but I'm gonna have you guys get a scan. I just want you to have it ready. All right, Mr. Brian, can you play that video for me?
I think so.
This is a video of a father trying to teach his dad or his son to read the report.
I'll be all right, Pop. I wouldn't believe everything that fella says. Furniture, call you mom and pop. I'll come back. Make a better offer. Don't ever come back here. Read that report. Get in there and fight. Call. You call Ernest with Innovex. So, then it gets hard. And it will. Don't come blaming me. You better read that report. Read it. Now, go get you home. Don't be a knucklehead. I ain't playing.
All right, next slide, please.
That was sexy. I remember watching.
All right, next slide. Okay, guys. Happy buyers make our lives easier as agents and inspectors, right? The inspection transaction runs much smoother. It's less headaches, right, for us. Buyers have better knowledge of the home that they're buying. That's the purpose of the inspection, is for us to educate our buyers, okay? I love to sit at the table. I encourage buyers to come to the inspection, sit at the table with me. Let me tell you about your home, because you get a laundry list because you didn't make it. They're scared of the inspection reports because they don't know what we're calling out. So it allows us the opportunity to educate the buyer. The inspection allows buyers to make a better informed decision, right? So next slide. All right, who wants to play the game?
Me.
Have your cell phones ready and turn them on the QR scanner, and don't try to scan the QR code here. That's why I put an X through it. Turn them over. Turn them over. Scan it.
Look at you go.
It's going to play a video, and I need to know who the winner is. It's going to say Innovex winner. Winner, chicken dinner.
Oh, what fun. Did you think all this up?
We don't have what?
Did somebody win?
It says Ashley Gorowski's the winner.
Am I?
There she goes.
Just kidding.
So, guys, as you can see, that in the body of that card says "Save us to contacts." If you will, save us to your contacts. Next slide, please. Save us to your contacts. Please allow our team the opportunity to earn your trust. That's all we ask for. My name's Ernest. Next slide, please. This is Markell, and we are Innovex Home Inspections.
One thing that I will say about Ernest is he calls things out as he should, but he's also really good about keeping your client from being overly alarmed about things. Like, you can fix anything, you know, and so that's the one reason why I call him over and over and over again. And, you know, keep the peace. Keep
Yes,
people from
absolutely.
getting their hair on fire.
Any questions?
How are you on pool
add-on inspections. I find that some of my previous inspectors are not as well versed in pool issues.
Okay. All right.
Does that make sense? Like
Absolutely.
they will, turn on the knobs and see that stuff is going, but can't really diagnose whether or not,
Well, I mean, as just as in the home, everything is based off the physical conditions, right? So we don't start upgrading a lot of valves and things like that, to test those things. What we do is we test the controller. We start there, of course. We're looking for cracks in the pools, of course. We're looking for cracks in the skimmers. We're looking for leaks at the pumps and any leaks at the equipment. Check valves at the heaters. Make sure that if it does have a heater, that it's working correctly. There's a lot of things that's associated, and plus, let me just state safety, right?
GFCI.
Safety, safety. So there's a lot of things that go into a pool, just as it does in a septic or a home or whatever. But it is based all off the physical conditions. I would expect thousands of pools. So from some that are just little to some really extravagant pools before, right? That just scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. If we stay in our lane, right? I don't jump too much outside my lane of things that I don't know anything about.
Right.
I think we ran into one that had those swimming and people swim against them.
Like a lap pool.
There was one of y'all that referred us to that house over there. I didn't know what that thing was. Oh, what is this? And I started looking and I was like, oh, that's how they swim in the,
Infomercials.
I'm over here on the side Googling. Like, but again, that's where I don't start tinkering. I write it up to further evaluate it. But if I don't know it, I'm not going to charge the client for it, and I'm not going to mess with it. Okay.
What about like older homes, like in the 20s and 30s, like those kind?
It's funny you say that. I just did a 1923s over here, not too far from here, just last week.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, they come with their fair share of the. They're interesting. They can be interesting, but it's again, you walk into those types of homes, you just start where you normally used to start and just work right through the process. Are we going to find an old knob and tube possibly in there? Yeah, we probably will. Which will get noted, of course, if it's still being used, of course, right? Really hadn't seen any asbestos with that. Go down towards Burleson was where we start seeing a lot of the asbestos siding material. But up here in this area here, I'll take it back. Over by the stockyards, I had a roof that I did that was an asbestos tile roof.
Really?
So yeah, they still had it up there. It looked good too. But I mean, yes, yeah, I've been in the business long enough. I've got well over 6,000 homes I've inspected from new to old as dirt. And so I'm pretty knowledgeable about that stuff.
What are some of the things that you do that maybe other inspectors don't or add-ons? Like what all is included in your value proposition?
Well, what I'm doing right here starts first, the presentation and the way that you present yourself. Okay. This goes beyond this table, folks. It goes to the clients too. Clients always look at me as being very personable. I want clients to feel comfortable of what they're buying. I can call out a house that my God, it looks like it may just be coming down to the structure. It's just falling down. But the way you present, it will allow the buyers, of course, to feel better about their purchase. It relieves the anxiety. That's what it is. Whether I'm writing my report on my software or the other guy's writing his report, it's a Trek document. It's the same stuff.
What about like plumbing pipes, foundation, kind of some of the big things that we usually have to get second opinions on? What is your first line in the inspection process of that? Do you do cameras? Do you measure floors?
Yeah, absolutely. As you know, I carry a zip level, so if I think that a foundation, usually any home that's over 5 years of age, I'll measure. I'll put it on there just to make sure it's measured. Now, I do go in further depth with that, with foundations, especially with the top of soil that we have out here. With plumbing, you're done with old cast iron. Yes, we do sewer scopes as well. Okay. So if a client decides that they want to have a sewer scope performed, I'll do that. What do they call it? Colonoscopy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want to pay me for it, I'll run it in there. But yeah.
And to kind of add on to that, every job, it's about technology. So if we do have thermals, termite inspections now, so we're able to kind of to get a little bit more to confirm.
So y'all also do pest inspections with your.
All at the same time.
Right.
It's really nice. You don't have to.
All right. So if we see a plumbing leak, or do we see like there's some type of moisture damage, we have moisture meters, thermals, to other things to confirm if we're seeing an issue. So it kind of helps out where maybe another inspector may not have that equipment to make that happen. So we are caught up with the latest and greatest to assist us in determining if there's a foundation issue, to plumbing issue, to even insulation behind walls, and a new build without insulation behind the wall. So we have the ability to look more in depth.
I have a couple questions. Phase inspections on new builds?
I don't perform phases. I didn't see the profit potential in the phases because, and the reason I say that is because most of the houses that were coming up were up in Prosper, and I live in Grand Prairie. So you have to make multiple trips, and I just couldn't justify the cost of phases. I know about phases. I just don't perform them for that reason.
Okay. And then, so I know you said to call you for pricing, but what is like your base price, and what does that include? And then what are like
Well,
roughly?
Did y'all scan that car?
Well, yes, and.
Yeah. Did y'all see right there? It says website.
No,
Y'all
I
have a
was too
website?
focused on adding contacts.
So if you go to the website and go on inspection fees, and you click on it, it shows you the base prices
Okay.
of the square footage. And then we talked about if you had to add.
It's on the
And
screen.
then your a la carte.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Right?
So, again, if you come over here, you can see the base price per square foot. Now, if you click that, now you're seeing where we charge for the sprinkler systems and the pools and the termites, things like that.
Okay.
So it makes it pretty simple.
So can you add those things kind of out of hoc when you're there? I mean, like if you see, like you mentioned, if you saw moisture and you're like, hey, for $25 more, we can do this.
We don't,
You don't have to do that.
okay, we don't upcharge on clients like that.
Okay.
Okay, I don't think that is good business. We get there and all of a sudden we're like, for me to thermal image this wall, I'll go
Right.
ahead. Yeah, we don't do that.
Okay.
Our basically if they don't hire us in for thermal, we use our equipment for investigation. So if I see a stain on the ceiling, I'll pull my thermal out to see if there's moisture on it. And then we follow that up with moisture meters to see if it's active conditions. Okay. So we won't do that with a client because that just looks like we're trying to upsell.
Right, they call us out from the get go. Hey, my house is not cooling. It's 100 degrees outside. Hey, we could provide you with a thermal inspection. Go around and check your external walls to see if there's insulation missing. That's been the case of that, stuff like that. So then that's a thermal inspection charge versus us just being out there and pulling out the thermal and doing further investigation on something that we may see. So
Okay.
we're not gonna charge extra.
And then on your 11-month, I recommend it to all of my clients, and I follow up. I mean, I'm pretty much getting you your money at the end of your 11 months because I recommend that they go back out.
Sure.
We also do a walkthrough after we give your inspection, or I give my inspector. I do a walkthrough with the builder, and we go back and we double check all the,
Absolutely.
we make that accountability there for them. But what is your charge for that for your go back?
Well, if we are performing the inspection from the get go,
Mhm.
okay, then they are discounted $100 off the next inspection.
Okay.
Mhm,
So
off
the
the
11,
11th
and
month.
then we usually say like 10 or 11 months, start getting it ready. So
Yes.
that report. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you have to think the client is now moved into that home. Now they're using those faucets. They're using all that stuff, right? The appliances. That stuff needs to be checked.
Yep. Okay.
Before now it's their baby because they're beyond that 12 months.
Yeah.
If y'all do a WDI and something comes back, and do y'all go back out to check to like clear the report if it's a VA?
Yeah, especially VA.
Yeah.
Has to be because you need a clear report on
Yeah.
that,
Do y'all
right?
y'all
So-
charge or do y'all?
It really depends on what it is.
Okay.
Most of the time, if it's something small like a brush or something, and I'll usually tell them take a photo of it.
Okay.
I'm not going to charge client for it. But if I have to go back, you got to think again. We're in Grand Prairie. We can go all the way up to Anna, which is an hour and 20 minutes one way, right? So yeah, we're going to charge if we have to go back. If we have to go back.
Well, thank you guys very much for your time today, and thank you for breakfast. Can we thank them, please?
Let me pick up those coasters
Yep,
from you.
give them his
Those
coaster.
are presentations.
Give them his game coasters.
Props.
The winner right here.
Thank you for breakfast.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ernest. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you.
meeting you in person,
Thank you.
and you guys will be on my inspection list.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right.
Now, hey, just because they're done doesn't mean y'all get to leave. Good grief. Wow. Bye. I'm giving it a hard time. It's okay. All right. So, let's hit announcements. Next week, we're going to be here. Ryan Stewart will be here, Kaja's brother, and he's going to be doing a 1 hour CE with us, which is on reverse mortgages. So that will be the mastermind next week. I'll give announcements, core value, and then Ryan will take over. Town hall is tomorrow at the Bearded Lady, which is right over here on Main Street, like 4 minutes from here by car. You could walk there in probably 7. It's pretty close. So please come at 11:30 for lunch with us at the town hall tomorrow.
Also, there is.
11:30 to 1-ish, but just you eat lunch and then you can leave.
And there's no parking, so come on.
Well, I just have a standing Thursday morning until
Not really.
12:15.
There's like on
Okay.
the side, but by 11:30 it'll be busy.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, but it's always.
yeah. Town halls are always on Thursdays.
I'll get you.
End of the quarter, the last Thursday of every quarter will be town hall. Hi. Okay. Let's hit the national market update. Please don't leave. I have mail for you. It's just here. Let's give it to you now. Okay. National market update. Sales of existing homes bumped up 4.2% in February. Inventory grew 5% over the prior month. NAR explained more inventory and choices are releasing pent-up housing demand. Inventory of new homes will also be increasing. February builders started construction on 11% more homes than January, plus completions of single-family homes are 7% ahead of where they were a month ago. Zillow is projecting rents will grow a lot more. Maria left. I thought she was sending a text. Will grow a lot more than home prices this year. With more supply, home prices should go up only 0.6%. But Zillow expects a 2.5% rise for multifamily rents and a 3.6% bump in rents for single families. So the rental market's going up. I'm sorry? That rents are going up. Okay, last week, March Gladness stock grabbed a big rebound. 3 major indices posting weekly gains. Traders scooped up bargains, started feeling better about economic prospects overall. The Fed obviously held rates steady, lowered its growth forecast, raised its inflation projection, but implied there will be 2 rate cuts this year. I've heard since this came out Monday that they're now saying 1 rate cut this year. So everybody's guessing. It's just like always, they're all guessing. We're all guessing. Plus, rising for the 3rd straight month, industrial production hit an all-time high. Retail sales rebounded in February, and the leading economic index stayed on its upward trend, indicating no imminent recession, which is good for everyone. Obviously, the rates held steady. I didn't catch the rates this week, but I'll jump over there in a second and do those. New and pending home sales, home prices, and inflation of this week should be a good week for housing data. Expect a gain in new home sales for February, as well as a rebound for pending home sales index of signed contracts on existing homes. We're seeing that in our office, the number of contracts that I'm seeing come through, it's holding true. Price gains are forecast to remain moderate as tracked by S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index. Economics also predict continued moderation in inflation for February as scored by the Fed's PCE prices measure. Federal Reserve Watch. So this is last week over there. And they were saying June, there was the 82% chance that they would drop. You can see it's still for June at about 81. The July 30th now has come back as far as when the meeting is, and they're at 40% there. We still think it's going to be June when they drop the rate. That's what that means. Let me jump over here. Hang on just a second. This is the live feed. There is your mortgage rates for this week. So the 30-year fixed is at 6.8. The 15 is at 6.21. The FHA is the one that we really kind of watch because that's kind of where most of the lower end buyers are going to fall at about 6.25. So you can still talk, hey, mid sixes, we're in the mid sixes, which is going to be the norm from the foreseeable future. Mid sixes are going to be fine. Okay, let me back here. Your core, oh, didn't share that one. Hang on. I did it, but you didn't see it. Your core value proposition defines the unique benefit you deliver. You even mentioned that a second ago. Value proposition. The reason clients choose you over your competition. Be clear on what your CVP is, then make it the cornerstone of all your communications. Did you know home ownership rates rose to 65.24% in 2023? That's up 0.06% over 2022 and 1% higher than 10 years earlier, even though home prices rose more than 40% during the decade. Yes.
That new homeownership versus one homeowner moving to another.
Home ownership rate.
I understand. All homeowners.
All, yeah.
So
Not-
it could be like, I'm buying another house, but I'm selling this house.
It's just actual, not how many you own, just people that actually own the homes. Okay, we're going to get a little bit gritty and grimy here, and there's going to be pushback, and that's okay. I understand, but we're going to talk about paragraph 5, and we're going to have the listing agreement, and we're going to talk about paragraph 12 of the contract. Because as the broker, you guys probably don't know this, but a lot of people call me with problems and issues and things, and then I get, yes, but that's my job. That's my job. It's okay. It's okay. When you need help, you call Brian. That's okay. Or you call Jimmy. That's what we're here for. But I do want to do a clear cooperation hit because Patty brought this up. Nothing
It
changed.
quickly was shut down that we will not be discussing it until it comes in September. I was like, oh, sorry.
Yep. No. Well, I didn't want everybody jumping on it because
Oh,
nothing
no.
changed.
But I would like to thank my girlies that did.
I didn't. Hey, I didn't delete it. Okay.
You're funny. I'm right.
Nothing has changed. So the ruling came down that
At
they're
least you got
going.
it on the right channel.
NAR is going to allow a period of time
Vote for that.
for people to list their homes in that private status. Now, there are a couple of brokerages, local and national, that are wanting to do this. Compass said that they did it last year, and they have a private website that only other Compass people can see, that they say that they got more money for those houses than what they could have got on MLS. There's no way to know that. I'm sorry.
My best friend works for Compass. She's probably like the #1 realtor in Dallas, and she sells all of her listings on that before they even hit the market.
Really?
Yes. On their private MLS. Her name's Bridget. She literally, she's like 90% of the listings sell before they even hit the market.
But so my question is on, there's no, like he said, there's no way to prove that if she put that on MLS, they would have made more money.
Well, it's not the more money part, but it's getting
Quicker.
that it's in that private sector.
I get that,
so
but I
she-
just think it's a disservice to your
Seller.
Depends on what your seller's
I mean,
goal is. What's their
Right,
goal?
but
They don't
true.
want all these
But
people
trust me,
coming
they're selling it
through
for
and-
exactly what it's for. And so now she pretty much is advertising herself or marketing herself as an agent that she sells it before it even hits market, and
Yeah.
it's working.
Yeah.
It is
There's
working.
nothing new under the sun. Keller Williams used to do the same thing. We used to track selling our own listings and owning the market and having the best market share. And blah, 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 blah. I mean, everybody's going to find their lane that they think that they can use for the best influence to attract buyers and sellers. We have our own gifting, and to focus on what somebody else has. I mean, yeah, you need to know what's going on, but you need to be able to put your own value proposition out there and just say, well, look at my results.
Mhm.
And that's why we track them. And so, okay, they don't have anything on me. Yeah.
So, and one of the other, I think Zillow did a report that they said that people that sold through the private networks actually lost close to 2.9% of what the value that they could have gotten had they gone on MLS.
Yeah.
How do we prove that?
I think you can skew.
It's both. Skewed. It's skewed both ways.
Do it
Yeah.
either way.
You can spin it either way, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I
So,
more so than like who's making more money where, like the focus is what's best for our client.
exactly.
And it's also like, I think that aside from the whole private sector thing, another, like, I guess, pro to that would be like just seeing what the feedback is before hitting the market.
Mhm,
Like,
absolutely.
watching feedback.
And that's one of the arguments, and I get that argument. I completely
I mean,
understand.
either way, it's kind of a wash. I mean, it's cool to be able to market yourself that way, but I mean, I don't think it's a make or break.
Right. Okay. So y'all tell me what's wrong with this listing agreement.
A and B.
It's kind of, you can't have A and B.
Yeah.
And the total.
One of our agents did this.
Oh,
who?
Well, he's not gonna tell us.
I'm not gonna tell, but
The
Victoria shared this with me and she said, what do I do with this?
They want money from everybody.
Yeah.
So what is the problem?
You can't.
You can't do A and B. You can't do both.
Yeah.
No.
Hold on,
You're,
hold on, hold on.
you're just confused yourself.
I'm just more thrown off about the.
Yeah. That's all it's like. Right?
And why is it 5?
Well,
no, they're
The
saying the
sub-agent.
other
That's what
broker
they're
gets
doing.
2%, and if they have a sub-agent, they get 1%.
Now,
And she gets 3%,
It has-
or they.
We need a training on
Yeah,
sub-agents to clarify this. because,
3,
like,
2.
well,
Three
sub-agent
different
used to be a big deal before I became a realtor. It was a big deal. And since I've been a realtor, it's not a deal.
And that's
She gets
20 years.
Yeah.
To the
So
buyer's
0 is
agent,
okay.
and 1%.
Zero, putting nothing,
Isn't
if you put
Otherwise,
something,
She gets to keep 3 though for the listing agent.
we don't.
Yeah, that's why I always say no.
I always say 0.
Okay. So, but some people do that and that's fine. But please only do 5A or 5B. It's not both. Okay. Now, it has been raised to me, and I think this is in 12. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Let me double check. Okay, here's 12. Now, let me back up. I'm gonna back up one. Okay, so if you sign a listing agreement, excuse me, that like this, and you have 5A only, and you put in whatever percentage you put in there, and then you can take a contract, and that agent asks for less, or you negotiate less for the buyer's agent than what is in this paragraph. The question is asked, do I have to amend my listing agreement? No, you do not, because
Good to know.
because it says, where does it say that? So paying buyer's expenses. It may be a different place.
Okay, hold on. I got a question.
It's the very first line. It's not set by law nor fixed, controlled,
Yes,
right?
right. And then it says,
I think it's down a little, I think it's.
it may be on the next page down, but it says that if the buyer's agent is accepting less compensation than what is offered in the listing agreement, then the listing agent's compensation is adjusted down to
Oh,
match
yeah, you
that.
texted me. This was my question, because I had a 6% and then they didn't take any buyer's agent
Mhm.
commission. And then it says if they take
Less,
it goes away.
Yeah.
So then it makes that 5 turn back to 3.
correct. It's automatic.
So you don't have to,
You don't have to amend the listing agreement to if your buyer's agent takes less.
what if you take, I mean, so what
If you change your commission compensation, I need an amendment.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's talk about paragraph 12. We're still seeing a lot of people that don't understand this. The cheat sheet, the flow charts, those are great tools for you to send to somebody, text it to them and go, hey, look what we got here. I don't care.
The contract, not the listing agreement, right?
Correct. We're on the contract, paragraph 12. So I'm still seeing people put in paragraph 12A 1B. 12A 1B. This is where you create a new
Agreement.
well, it's responsibility for the seller to pay the buyer's agent. Okay, that's what 12A 1B does. These two blanks right here are for a new obligation. What I was looking for a buyer's agent to be paid. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, but this, now go back a slide. Sellers. You go back a slide. If this is on the contract, that's because you have filled in 5B.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay,
No, hold on.
we'll go back to the other page, sorry, because on this one, you're saying 12B is a new agreement for compensation. That's not what that says.
No.
That says agrees to pay blank, blank, blank.
Applied to brokerage fees,
Oh,
buyer
okay.
has
And
agreed to
then
pay.
The next section B is concessions.
C.
Yeah,
C is-
yes, sorry.
C is the old paragraph 12
Yes.
before all this
Okay,
crap
yes, sorry,
started.
I thought they were flipped.
Sorry, was that out loud?
And on YouTube, the following amounts to be applied to brokerage, okay. and
Yes,
then
so
then C
one
is seller.
B is compensation, C is concession.
Correct.
So you're saying that if that's filled, you don't fill out the other one?
Okay, so the flow chart is the next thing in the thing. If you fill out, if this is the contract and you fill out 12A1B, either blank, there's nothing at the bottom of page 10 because you're creating a new obligation for the seller.
What you just put in the contract.
Correct. If you put in 12A1B, either one of those two blanks, you have created a seller to buyer broker relationship.
So if you do fill this out,
You more than likely filled out. on
Then
the
you
listing
did
agreement.
5B
Yeah, you
here.
did.
what the?
Yeah.
That's your listing agreement,
That's your
and you're
listing agreement.
saying, we're not talking about the compensation.
This is broker to broker. This is seller to buyer broker. Broker to broker, seller to broker.
It doesn't matter. It's coming out of the same fund.
I know.
It really is.
How many contracts have you written since this happened? Or accept?
3.
Okay. Have any of them gotten kicked back?
No.
It's like, let's not get all up here.
Do you put
Like, it just
I
confuses
still am
me.
filling that out and doing the first paragraph of the other one.
But that's
Then you
wrong.
could,
Then
then
created
you
another
You
obligation.
created
created an obligation for the seller to pay
Twice.
twice.
That's not, I'm literally done now.
Yeah, this, if you're doing broker to broker, if you're doing the old way that we used to do it,
Yeah.
12A1B should be blank and only 3% should be at the bottom and I have to have a 2402.
Yeah.
Then you have the broker to broker compensation agreement.
2402.
Flow chart. No, well, yeah, but nobody's been doing it. Like I literally. Okay.
When I tell you agents are arguing with me, I literally had to call Brian and be like, I followed all of our steps. I referred back to the flow chart. I referred back to the cheat sheet. I gave the lady this information and she's still arguing with me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he was like, you're correct. Send her the flow chart. And like, because they're just arguing about it.
Yeah.
They don't understand it. They're not being
Right,
trained. They're not
right.
talking about it.
So again, like Victoria will kick it back and then I feel like we just use it as a learning opportunity. Like I don't.
And if it gets to that point where you're in an argument, send an email with the flow chart and copy me on
Yeah,
it.
and that's what I did and she let it go.
Because I'll be very happy to
Brian
jump.
all up in there.
I don't know everything, but I have been schooled on this by y'all and by me. I mean, all the contracts that we go through, Victoria and I are constantly talking. I mean, you ought to see our text thread in the backside of Slack because we're constantly talking about all these things to make sure that we get every single scenario figured out in advance before you guys get there. Because this can be super confusing to everyone. But that flow chart, that's the bottom line. This is from Texas Realtors. It's linked in everything in my presentations. It's everywhere. I don't care if you go to the new TAR forum site that's still out there. Yes, Ashley, I'll get to you in just a second. Y'all can go to the new TAR forums. I think that everything on the not our TAR forms is not accessible to everyone, but everything that's linked in there is public domain. So you can go in there, share something, copy that link and send it to them. Ashley, go ahead.
Yeah, so with my listings, what I'm doing is if there's an offer that's coming that I know is coming, I just shoot them a text or an email with this flow chart and I actually circle the one that I have. So, and 90% of the time it's going to be the listing broker pays the broker. So I just circle that box and say, go off the flow chart off of this one because that's the way my listing agreement shows.
That's
And
great.
nobody has had a problem with it that way.
Great suggestion. So there's the cheat sheet, just so that it's the same thing that we've been saying, but this practical application is in all of our follow-up documents, so you guys can see that stuff. And the last thing that I'm going to hit real quick is just, I made a QR code for the legal briefs. Some of the videos from Texas Realtors are good, and some of them you're like, it's a lot to digest because the way the attorneys are saying it, but there is still a lot of good stuff on the legal briefs page. So feel free to go look at that stuff. Anybody else want to talk about 5A and 12? Does that make sense?
And we're gonna all go back and look at our files.
And somebody will go back and find this in their documents and they'll go, oh, that was me he was talking about. And that's okay.
I'll own it.
That's okay. It happens. Everybody, if you haven't written a bunch of contracts and you're not your brain hasn't totally digested this, it's completely fine.
And even if you have.
Yeah. Even we all make mistakes. We can all go back and learn from it. That's what Victoria and I are there for, is just to make sure that we're compliant. If we ever get audited by Trek, we're going to be good. We're going to be good. And yes, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is permission, but we're going to try to be the best that we can be. I mean, we're trying to learn and be professionals about this, and we want our training to benefit our industry. So that's why I know you guys get tired of me talking about these,
No,
but
We don't.
we're not created for such a time as this. That's what I'm.
well, last summer, I didn't think so. Last summer, I was completely overwhelmed watching hours of video for every single meeting that we did, because there was a lot going on back then, and we didn't have answers. At least we have answers. Now, we'll see what Clear Cooperation does. Please understand this, and if you don't know what Clear Cooperation is, if you market a property to the general public in any format, it must be an MLS within 1 business day. So if you put a thing on Facebook of, I've got a house coming soon, here's a sneak peek, it has to be an MLS the next
If you
day.
do it Friday.
It is the next business day. He does it Thursday.
I go on, I'm sorry?
Like, what if you have a listing that's not going on the MLS?
No, but like if I
A
show
pocket
it to
listing.
our-
Not even a pocket listing, but like that's part of our listing agreement.
Don't
Seller allows or does not allow this to be marketed on the MLS.
Then you can't market it at all.
But that's not what the agreement says.
Well, you can
You
market it,
can, you're just.
but can you market it to the general public? Or can you
My,
market
I was
it-
just wondering.
I don't know.
I know
That's-
That's what
I
I
need to know.
understood
Clear
is on
Cooperation was MLS.
No, the
It's MLS.
MLS rule trumps it.
I don't know what that means.
What do you mean by that,
MLS
Ashley?
The MLS rule will trump the fact that it has to be in the MLS if you're marketing it online, is from what I've read.
Well, I don't know though. You've got a point. I don't know.
Because I know, like, like Chris's business partner sold his house off market. So you mean to tell me that that agent wasn't allowed to market the property?
On Facebook or anything like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
That's
Because
good.
people tell me, sure, if you find someone to sell my house, fine, but I don't want to put it on MLS yet, because I don't want it on.
Yeah, I don't want my
I don't
neighbors to
want my
know. I
neighbors
don't
to
want
know,
my
I
business
want
partners to know.
sign.
I don't want.
I don't want anybody to know yet. but
So
if
maybe you
someone
mark-
asks-
It says to the public. So
Okay.
could you market it in private channels and and email and things like that
But
without
not on
going
social
public?
media?
That was my question.
Put it down.
Is like I've
That's
got
different.
several text message groups with different agents, like this little cluster, that little cluster, so on and so forth. And I can put a little coming soon blurb out there. I've got this one coming.
But that's not the general public.
That's not the general public. So I don't have to have it on the market one day later.
No, no.
That's all I
But if
wanted
you
to
put it
clarify.
on social media is my question.
Yes.
That's public
Point
channel.
blank.
That's
Put
general,
it on
that
my
is,
social media,
then,
my own, not out on, like, just mine. You have to be.
Are you public?
And it's also public on the post, because I see agents doing that all the time and not putting it in MLS.
And
What I
see-
find. Or
Absolutely.
literally saying, I'm gonna have this on MLS in 18 days. And I'm like, that's not the rule. Why would you even put yourself out there?
well,
So
and
people are doing that
if somebody
So I
reports
just
them
wanna
to Greater Fort
understand-
Worth or to Netris,
for myself.
that you would be fined.
So if you talk to another realtor or like a friend in the neighborhood that you're speaking to, it's fine. But if you put it on advertising, it's not.
Correct.
Who would actually like report this?
I'll speak into this a little
It's
bit.
weird.
There are legally like 15 ways around this rule that everybody can get around. You can do it as like, you can do it for a friend. You can make like a million different documents of how to do it legally. I mean, the general rule of thumb here is like, if you want to advertise a house that you don't have a listing agreement on and you don't, just come talk to us. Those are going to be very nuanced deals that like, it's like, okay, here's what I want to do. Basically, it's going to be a seller that's like really weird. It's like, I don't want to do it the traditional way. I want to do it this specific way. And so come to me specifically. I can there's like all these different avenues to do it because we flip houses, right? And so we used to work with agents. And so we worked with a lot of smart agents that just knew their ways around and market it without going to MLS, right? And so there's it's just nuanced. Each house is going to be nuanced. Each customer is going to be nuanced. And so, I mean, it's not worth having a discussion because you're not going to figure it out because there's going to be rules for different situations and any situation is going to be different. So just kind of it's not worth discussing as a group. Like, I'm not trying to shut us down, but also it's like,
Sounds like it.
yeah. And also, we're not gonna come to a
We're not gonna
conclusion.
solve.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
agree,
it's like-
agree.
You're saying it's not a definitive.
Yeah, there's not a definitive answer because I could tell you 5 ways you could do it and then 5 ways it's against the law, you know? But like I could legally get around the loophole like all day long. It's just how much risk do you want to take? And I'll present you with all the risks. I'll be like, this is what you're risking. This is legally what you can do. This is what I would advise you to do, but this is your business, right? Here's a way to get around it if you wanted to, but it's still risky. And I'll tell you that. I'll tell you the percentages of it. And, you know, and we'll, as a brokerage, we're willing to take risks for your business. We get it. We're not going to just break the law, just blatantly do that. But also, you got a seller that wants to sell a $1 million property and it's an investment property and they want to market it to investors, but they don't want to do it on MLS because they don't want to do tax for tax reasons. Like that's a real scenario. Okay, well, let's figure out how to do this. Let's figure out a loophole and agreements you need to sign. You know, like we can figure that out pretty easily. But so yeah, for nuanced stuff like that, just call me. There's different ways around it, but whenever you get those weird sellers, but for the most part, like
All the rules.
yeah, follow the rules. Yeah, it's good general.
And that's why I go on Friday. When you see me doing videos, it's usually on a Friday because I'm going to put it on the market Monday. And that gives me that one business day and I'm in compliance. Nobody
Yeah.
can complain.
Yeah, I would say 90% of your deals, that's follow those guidelines.
Mhm.
And then only when you have that seller that's just really weird and they're like, I don't want people going through my home, they're gonna steal everything, you know, those weird people. Then let's come talk to me. We'll figure it out. We're not gonna hurt your business. We'll figure out a way around it though.
And that's it for today. That's the meeting. Thank you guys very much. Next week, we will be here with Ryan and we've got the 1 hour CE. I don't know if he's going to charge money or not, maybe $5 or $10.
Maybe $10. Didn't
I
you
think
say?
legally, don't they?
I think they have to charge something.
You should
So-
definitely.
What
come
is
to it.
the
It's really
class?
good. It's,
Reverse mortgages.
and he teaches you how to teach your people how to get money out of their house. They got other houses for investment. Help them. So everything is really good.
I have one announcement.
Oh, Jimmy has one more thing.
I got one announcement before everybody leaves. Does anyone know, this was Rachel and I were talking about this morning, and I want to do this, Brian, I haven't told you about it, so sorry, online too.
Is that
Uh,
surprise?
If anyone knows an agent that does a ton of relocation stuff, not just they get relocation leads or whatever, but they have specifically paid, you know, a significant amount of money to advertise to just relocation clients, where that's their bread and butter. If anyone knows of anybody like that, I'm looking for an agent that's willing, abundance mindset, to come and teach us about that.
I like car
I'd love to do
skills.
that.
No.
Okay.
It's like specifically, I know a lot of agents. So I have one in mind. I'm going to ask. I just don't know if they're going to come teach another brokerage, but maybe that all they do, their specific, the way they make money, like 90% of their money comes from people from California, from Virginia, from different hotspots, and then they go and they target those cities
Yeah.
that are moving here.
There's some people.
And so
that
there's
do
social
that.
media that just does that, and there's strategy there. But so I'm very familiar with paid ads for like targeting stuff. Like I can do that, but I know there's going to be some nuances that I haven't learned for real estate. So if anyone knows of that, I think that would be a really cool little tool to add to our. You know, it's like, hey, I want to grow my sphere, but I want to do all this stuff, but also I have some extra money. had a good year. I might want to try this. It should be like this interesting thing to explore for sure.
I mean, especially with, we have hospitals, so like, especially even like you can niche down more and like match pay just happened for new residents, like PCS season is here for military personnel. There's a lot of people in Central Texas.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay, yeah,
is
so that's a lot of Central Texas.
my thought is if I can figure out a person and come teach us, we can use it as a brokerage to, if we have some extra money, we can throw out and see if we get leads. But also niche down to specifically like DFW area, nurses, like I was literally thinking nurses, like different businesses, like you can literally target like people that work at certain industries.
Yeah, like
you know?
Lockheed.
Yeah,
Air
and
Force
so-
Base.
Sorry, is that you looking for a strategist?
Yeah, a strategist. I don't want to pay a marketing person to come because they're just going to try to they're going to try to just recruit and pitch their business. I would rather hear from an
Somebody
agent's perspective.
Done it.
I want to hear from an agent that's done it and done it well. And so I'm looking for that. I think that'd be a cool thing to throw into the mix. Some of those, I don't know, I think it'd be really interesting. It's like another little strategy, broaden your sphere, paid ad strategy that we could learn something from.
Okay,
Anyways.
thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week.
Well, and a lot of it